Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. Coming up on the show, we'll talk basketball with men's head coach Jim Larranaga, and on the women's side, Katie Meyer. Both teams making a charge toward March Madness. The NCAA tournament is right around the corner. This past Sunday, a great event was held, the celebration of women's athletics. Over $300,000 was raised, spearheaded by the $100,000 matching contribution by former University of Miami President Donna Shalala. Let's take a look back now at the celebration of women's athletics, brought to you by UL Sports Medicine. We'll get you back in the game.
This is our third celebration of women's athletics. This is something that really celebrates what we're about as a program, about building champions in academics, athletics, and life. We talk about our core values of being excellence, integrity, respect, passion, and family. And when you look at the individuals we're recognizing today, they truly exemplify everything that is great about athletics.
When a female athlete at the University of Miami loses, we want to know two things. Why? Why? And the second thing we want to know is, how do I make sure that never happens to me again? And when you have a strong, confident female, strong and confident women, think of the impact, think of the multiplication of that confidence to their children, to their spouses, to their partners, to the boardroom when they have just a little bit more emotional intelligence, but the same amount of confidence as the men that are sitting in the room with them. We can change the world right now by supporting these wonderfully strong females.
It doesn't matter what it is in life, I've never been outworked. People tell me now, you're like a machine. I said, because I have a vision, I have a goal, and I am going to accomplish it. And I have learned that right here at the University of Miami. And I'm just so happy to be standing here in a room full of athletes, supporters, staff, family, and friends who have cared for me and who have groomed me to be not only a former athlete, but a mayor of my hometown.
This pursuit of excellence for our student athletes that prepares them for the next 40 years is made possible because of your dedication and your generosity. I am proud to announce that with the wonderful support of former President Donna Shalala and her challenge, we have raised over $300,000 from this event today. So thank you all. As we close here today, thank you for supporting our efforts, for being a part of this first sellout of over 330 people in this room here today. Congratulations again to all of our award winners. These young women represent the best of the best here at the University of Miami.
Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. Time to talk University of Miami men's basketball with head coach Jim Larranaga, and the Hurricanes are in quite a battle. What a great time of the year, Coach. You're in quite a battle to get into the NCAA tournament. A lot of the bracketologists have you there based on what you've done so far. Last week, two great games, went right to the wire, Virginia Tech in Louisville.
It's a great league, Joe. The ACC is the best in the business, and it seems like every game, no matter who plays, it's a dogfight. And last week, two terrific opponents. One at home, Virginia Tech, where I thought we played very well and they played very well, and we were able to come out on top. And then we traveled to Louisville, who's ranked 4th in the country. They played really well, and we led for about 37 of the 40 minutes. But they played better down the stretch than we did. We missed a couple of free throws. They made a couple of threes. And that made all the difference in the world.
Got 6 games to go. You told the team a couple of weeks ago you got to get to 9. And since you told them that, won 2 out of 3. So you do have an opportunity to get to 9 league wins.
Well, I think any team in the ACC that wins 9 games during the regular season has a very good chance of making the field, because you're playing against the top teams in the country. If you look at the ratings, not just the rankings, but the ratings in terms like the RPI, all of our teams are like in the top 50. Mm-hmm. And when you play what the committee calls a body of work, it's not just that you won games, but who you beat and who you played. And we've played perhaps the most difficult schedule in University of Miami basketball history, and we've got 6 games remaining, 3 of them on the road at Virginia Tech, and at Florida State. Those teams, Virginia and Florida State, are 2 of the top 14 teams in the country, and Virginia Tech right now is ranked 37th. So if you can compete with those teams, and then still we have Clemson and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech on Wednesday night, we're tied with them at 6-6. So we're both battling for an NCAA at-large bid. And then we have Duke, who has regrouped now that Coach K is back on the sideline, playing very, very well. They just beat Carolina and Clemson this past week. So they're playing at the top of their game.
You've had pretty good consistent play from Davon Reed, Bruce Brown, Jaquan Newton offensively all year. You've been looking for that other guy. And Buka's come in there, Buka Zundu, Anthony Lawrence. You mentioned DeJuan, of course, now knocked sideways a little bit with the foot injury, but are you getting closer to that extra guy scoring for you?
Well, what we really wanted is all our players to be playing well at the same time. It's difficult when 2 or 3 guys are playing really well and 2 or 3 guys are really not playing up to speed. Right now, everybody is playing about as well as they've played all season long. Davon Reed, Jaquan Newton, Kamari Murphy have been terrific. Now you got DeJuan playing better. You have Abuka playing better. Anthony Lawrence playing better. We got DJ Vasiljevic coming in off the bench and playing well. And, of course, Bruce Brown. He's had a tremendous freshman year.
All right, so this week it's Georgia Tech, and then Clemson comes in. So 2 big games against teams that are either below you or tied with you. So this is a very important week.
Yeah, Georgia Tech and Miami are tied. We're both 6-6, and we both have a chance to move up in the standings in the ACC. But it's not just our standings, Joe. You got to look ahead. Carolina has 3 losses. Then there's 3 or 4 teams with 4 losses, 2 teams with 5, and us with 6. Carolina has yet to play Virginia. They got to play them twice. They still got to play Duke, who just beat them. So even though Carolina is probably sitting in the best shape possible, they're not out of the woods themselves. It's going to come down probably to the last day of the regular season to determine who's going to win the league, then who's going to get the byes. Because you have 4 teams that get a bye and don't have to play on Tuesday. And you have Carolina, Virginia, Louisville, Florida State. You still have Notre Dame battling there, and even Syracuse only has 5 losses. So they're all in contention for a bye. Right. Now, then you have us and Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech tied with 6 losses. Anything can happen. Someone gets hot and they go on a roll, or somebody falls at the top of the league and comes back down to us. So it's just exciting at this time of year. It's March Madness is approaching, and the madness has already begun in the ACC.
I don't know if my heart can take it, but I'm very much looking forward to the adventure ride. Coach, thank you for being with us.
Always my pleasure, Joe.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Jim Larranaga. Stay with us as we continue right here on Hurricane Game Day. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day, everyone, as we continue, brought to you by Williamson Automotive. Joining us now, University of Miami women's basketball coach Katie Meyer, and the Hurricanes are playing great basketball at the right time. Coach, congratulations, coming off a couple of big wins against Virginia and Clemson. Right. 8 wins in the conference, so looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, well, feeling great. You know, we knew we were handed a really tough start to the schedule, and we battled through that, I thought, very well. We won about 500 with the ranked teams. A lot of them were on the road, so that was a struggle. Our record didn't look great, but I thought, you know, there's a lot of people in the country would take that record with what we just played. And now that we had a couple home games that were winnable and we took care of business, that we're feeling great about ourselves.
You are in position with where you are. You're ranked 16th in the nation and climbing. You are in position perhaps to get a home court for the NCAA tournament if you get one of those top 16 seeds.
Right. It's something that we didn't shy away from at the beginning of the year. The fact that it's in play right now is just, it's what we wanted. You know, it's in play. We put a non-conference schedule together to get ourselves to an RPI and to a national ranking. and we have road wins against top 10 teams, and very few people have that. So we put ourselves in that position. Now, everybody knows, it doesn't matter. What happens in February and March dictates your whole future. But there's been February and Marches, no matter if we had a perfect February, we still wouldn't have been able to get in this position. So we're in play, and with 2 ridiculously tough road games ahead of us. But any good news out of one of those, and we'll still be in play.
Right. So you got to feel good, really good about the NCAA tournament. That's pretty much a lock. And so now do you focus on trying to get that home court advantage?
Well, right now, because I feel like we've established ourselves at least 500 in the league. We got our 8th win, and we play 16 games. So to establish that with this team, you can sort of shift gears. The conference standings, it's just a bit different in women's basketball. It's just so uneven. We play 16 games. You play 2 opponents twice, but everybody else you play 1 time, either there or home. It's not that even. So certain teams have a little bit of an easier schedule this year. We have a very tough schedule this year. So if you're not at the top of the league, you kind of have more national concerns right now than where you finish in the league. We have very national concerns right now, which is great. It's so fun to not just have the only postseason tournament you're worried about is the ACC tournament. I mean, we've been there before too, but now to say, all right, we are playing at Duke and at Virginia Tech, and those 2 games are huge games nationally. They happen to be conference foes, but they're huge nationally, and they can really help us.
You are coming off a couple of great wins. The game against Virginia in that game, Kiana Hayes became the 3rd Hurricane for 1,000 points. Not the 3rd Hurricane, but 3rd on this particular team.
Right.
The 2nd this year with 1,000
Right.
points.
Yeah, and that's a huge accomplishment for Key, and more so for the balance of the team, because Adrian, 3 seniors, Adrian and Jessica and Key, all have 1,000 points, but nobody's averaging 25 points a game, and that's a real testament to how unselfish this team is to have 3,000 point scorers, and nobody's averaging over 15 points a game.
I thought Clemson was going to be a tricky game. They had lost 8 in a row, but then they were able to pull it together and won 3 of the last 4. Right, so they come in with a bit of a hot set of dice. But your team played with, I'm going to say this, they played with a lot of joy in that game.
Right. Well, there was so much to celebrate, and it's one thing about this particular team. I think other coaches in any sport, even here, if you saw my team yesterday, you would want to be me. You would want to have that type of emotion and happiness and joy and togetherness. Coaching is really hard. Playing in college is difficult. There's a lot of pressure on the young ladies. And yesterday I gave them permission to just celebrate the pink and the cause and the celebration in women's athletics. And there was just so much to celebrate. And so many important people were in the arena watching us play. And I told them that. I told them, what are they going to walk away feeling? And they got to play to that emotion. And it was just a great crowd. And it was just a wonderful day and a great moment. And just for me personally, I tried to tell my team I was proud of them in the locker room after the game, and I couldn't get through it. I teared up because it's such a grind, and you get that one day where I saw them in these beautiful pink uniforms, and they were just so amazing as individuals, and I was just so proud. So it's a good group.
And we'll talk about the cause in a moment, but Adrian Motley has been chasing Octavia Blue here for a while, and she got her yesterday.
Wow.
Over 1,700 points.
The funniest part about it is I'm standing, Blue sits right next to me, and Adrian is starting a 3. I had to just look up at the scoreboard, and I thought, I think she's close to 10. And she's just starting her jumper, and I say, you're getting Blue on this one, and she releases that ball, and it was money, and it was in. And so Blue put her head down like, oh no, but she was so proud. When Adrian came back down, I had to explain to her what I meant by that. She didn't understand. And then she came in and dapped her on the sideline. It was just fun. I mean, that connectedness between the alumni, and then have such a prominent alum on my staff and caring so much. And really, she wanted Adrian to get that. She's kind of sick of hearing about it. But we're just so proud. So it was a great day.
All right, so you have a bye week, probably a good chance to catch your breath. Duke is coming up, your alma mater. What's your message for your team as you catch your breath here and go into that game?
Well, when you have a bye week and then maybe you have a lower team at the end of you worry about your kids' focus. But I had no problem giving them 2 days off this week. We need it. We've been grinding, and I said, you go find your own plug, your own battery, and you recharge on your own. Like, I'm not going to dictate the next 2 days in your life. We have a huge game coming up. Opportunities galore still remain on our schedule. But there's a certain point in the season where a coach says to the team, it's your investment. Don't not do it because you're scared you're going to get in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble. I'm testing your maturity, but you need a break. So stay sharp, take 2 days, and we'll gather again on Wednesday. So hopefully they're doing the right things right now, because I could see the surprise and then they'll probably work harder than anything I would have made them do.
Well, you've had quite a couple of weeks here, 300 career wins,
Yeah.
some great victories inside the ACC, and now take a day off.
I'd love to.
All right, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Katie Meyer. Stay with us as we continue right here on Hurricane Game Day. We continue now with Hurricane Game Day, presented by Williamson Automotive. We've talked a lot about basketball on the show. Well, it is baseball season, and the University of Miami baseball team gets underway this weekend with a 3-game series against the Scarlet Knight of Rutgers. Of course, baseball season always begins with the first pitch banquet, and this year the guest speaker was former Hurricane third baseman and outfielder Ryan Braun. Always a great event, a sellout at the Hurricanes first pitch banquet, and always good to see former players and all the Hurricane fans, and of course a great message delivered by now University of Miami Hall of Famer Ryan Braun.
It gives me a great pleasure to introduce one of the U Baseball family's all-time favorite songs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Ryan Braun.
It's truly an honor and a privilege for me to have an opportunity to be back here tonight, to speak to you guys, to talk to the current players about my experience here at the University of Miami. So for all the current players, it's a really, really special time in your lives. This is the most I ever enjoyed playing baseball in my life, was playing here at the University of Miami. The camaraderie you have with your teammates, the relationship, the closeness that you have with the guys that you're currently playing with is something that will never be duplicated. You know, you see from the 1974 team, there's 7 guys that are here today, and it just speaks volumes of how special this program is, how unique the opportunity is to attend this university, and the bond that you guys will hopefully have for the rest of your lives with each other.
Now let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the University of Miami, and a big one on Wednesday as the Canes are home at the Watsco Center to take on Georgia Tech. Also on the schedule, as we mentioned, Rutgers on Friday night at 7 o'clock at Alex Rodriguez Park and Mark Lake Field. A doubleheader on Saturday as the basketball team is in action against Clemson, and baseball 7 o'clock that night against Rutgers. And then men's tennis on Sunday will take on Clemson, and the Hurricanes in baseball will wrap up their weekend series against the Scarlet Knight of Rutgers. Hurricanes with a brand new baseball team, although they do have some stars remaining from the last couple of years when Miami went to the College World Series. Center fielder Carl Chester, first baseman Chris Barr, shortstop Johnny Ruiz, and others. Jim Morris will join us next week on the show as we continue our preview of baseball. Thanks so much to Jim Larranaga and Katie Meyer for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time right here on Hurricane Game Day, and go Canes.